Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Screencast-O-Matic 2017 with Mr. Runyan. Let's look at our application problem. So you already should have solved it, or you're stuck, or you're done. Which would be solving? Let's read it. Okay. So Max's reading assignment was to read 15 and a half pages. After reading 4 1/3 pages, he took a break. How many more pages does he need to read to finish his assignment? Kind of a tough one. So, in your head, how did you start it off? How are you about to solve this problem? Okay, so what is a subtraction problem we need to solve? We know we're taking away. So let's look at it. So we have, let me change my color. "15 and a half pages, right? And he read 4 1/3 pages. And he took a break. How many more pages does he need to finish? Okay, well, we need to read this. This is what we started with. And he reads 4 1/3. Okay, and we learned in the last few lessons that why not make this easy and do the ones that are similar first. So 15 minus 4 is 11. And then you'd have 11. Okay, now we can do this. So we have a half minus 1/3. And we know that we have to subtract, right? Well, can we subtract 2 and 3 as a fraction? No, because we have a half minus 1/3. We can't subtract the 2 and 3 because they're not the same. You need to make them the same. And we take the big one and we go 3, we go multiples of 3. So 3, 6, and 2 going to 6. Yes. Easy peasy. Finish it for $50. $50. Okay, so we know that 3 goes into 6 twice. And what you do on the bottom, je belongs that's all. Mom. Okay, and then we end up with 11 and 3, 6. Take away 2, 6. Well, now we can subtract. So 3 minus 2 is 1, 6. So you end up with 11 and 1, 6. That should have been your answer. And we can, of course, check our work. So you could have drawn a picture, right, of the whole 15 and a half. You took away 4 and a half, or 4 1/3. And then what was left. So Max needs to read 11 and 1/6 more pages. Okay. Hey, so Sam and Nathan are training for a race. Monday, Sam ran 2 3/4 of a mile, and Nathan ran 2 1/3 miles. How much farther did Sam run than Nathan? Okay, so again, remember we have our strategy of read, write, draw. So we can look at underlining. So we know Sam ran 2 3/4 and Nathan ran 2 1/3. And our question says, how much farther did Sam run than Nathan? How much farther? So it doesn't sound like I'm adding, because it's not all together. It sounds like I'm going to have another subtraction problem. So the subtraction problem we need to solve is 2 3/4 take away 1/3. Okay, and we go about solving that. We do always have to be careful because we can get in the habit of doing our wholes first, and it won't be on this case, but sometimes we might have to borrow. So we can't always just take our wholes away first. So 2 take away 2 would be, well, it's easy, right? If you take 2 wholes away, You're left with no holes. Easy peasy. Okay, so now we're just left with the fractions. Okay, so we have 4 and 3. 3/4 minus 1/3. So we've got 4s and thirds. Again, we take our big number, 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. We're doing multiples. 3 doesn't go into 8. The next multiple is 12. Sometimes you might just know how to solve it. So then you know that it'd be 4 and 3. And what you do on the bottom, you do on the top. And you end up with 9/12 minus 4/12. Okay, and now we know that the answer, we just subtract across, would be 5/12. And that would be Sam. So if you wanted to write it out, you could say Sam ran 5/12 of a mile farther. We can double check our work. Okay, so we have Sam, Nathan. We know that the difference here would be 5/12. Okay, so for problem number 2, before you pause it, I do want you to try to solve this using a number line. So I will help you set it up at least, because I know we haven't done a lot of them. So we know that a number line would look like that, just a line. And your number line starts at what? 0, right? And we're going from 1/3/4, take away 6/7, right? So we could say that halfway would be 1, right? So from 0 to 1. And we could split this into fourths. So we'd say 1/4, 2/4, which is half, 3/4, right? And then 1, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and then over here would be 2. Okay, so we've got that written down. And the only other thing I would like you to make sure that you do is if you can try this right here. So try to solve it using 2 methods. I know that some of you can get this done like this right now. But this is just kind of that practicing. So let's try to at least do this in 2 methods and show me 2 methods for $50. Go. Okay, well this is pretty easy. So you should be done. And we have 1, we have 2, and we need to show me where 1 3/4 would be. Well, we know that 1's here, right? 1, 2, 3. So we would say 1 and 3/4 would be there. Okay. And we're taking away almost a full whole. So we could say, I bet you it'll be right about here somewhere. Okay. We're going to say minus 6/7. And this is the craziest thing with doing the number lines is sometimes you won't get the answer because our denominators are different. We could make them the same before doing anything, but let's try to do it this method here. Okay, so now remember, now we have a whole, right? This is super easy. We have a whole, okay, and 3/4, so we're taking away 6/7. So just like this. Okay. We know that 6/7 is probably bigger than 3/4. So if we end up subtracting this and making the denominators the same, we're going to probably have to borrow from our 1. Can we do anything different first? I've done it a couple times. Can't we just subtract this from here first? So we'll take a whole minus 6/7, because right now this whole is 4ths, but this whole could also be 7ths. This whole could be 100ths or 1,000ths or whatever it needs to be, because it's a whole. Every whole's the same. It just depends on how many times you're going to dice it up, right? So 1 minus 6/7 would be what? 1/7, right? And now because we took this away from this, we took this out of the 1 3/4, okay, we're going to add it back to the 3/4, okay, and now we can do our changing the denominators. So 7 and 4, what they have in common, you can just say that it's going to be 28, because it is, but you can make it simple. Okay, so now you're left with 4 28s, add 21 28s, and that equals 25 28s. Here you go. And of course, we can check our work. 25 28s. You could have done it this method, done some boxes, and subtracted. Number line. And here's another one that you could have done. Method number 1, which is basically what we did. So we took the whole minus 6/7, and then we added 3/4 back. So okay, so I'm fine with you solving this one time. You can choose any way to solve this problem that you would like. Okay, go. Okay, I'm going to choose the box method. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take our wholes away. So we're going to have 1 and 1/4 minus a half. And now I'm going to change my method because I think it's going to be easiest this way. And this is kind of how you do math. You just kind of you look at it and you're like, well, I remember how we do this. So we have a whole. Why not take the half from the whole, right? 1 minus a half. Let me change my color so you can see it. So 1 minus a half is a half, right? And remember, because this was part of that, I can't keep subtracting. Now I have to add it back, right? Because I'm taking this from here, which is part of, this is all one pizza delivery. Okay, if you take away from that pizza delivery, you still have some left. So you've got to put them together. So a half out of 4th. Well, I know off the top of my head, without doing anything, I know that a 4th gets over here to make it the same by 4s, right? So 2/4 is the same as a half. So, and then you add, and you're left with 3/4. Okay, we could have done our number line. Or maybe you chose to do it this way. You could have also used blocks. Okay, so again, you're more than welcome to solve this any way you'd like. Go. Okay, well, hopefully you're done or you're stuck. So I'm going to solve this the same way. I'm going to take away wholes. You're left with 1 1/2 minus 2/3. Again, this is so easy. You can go ahead and just subtract the 2/3 from the whole, right? And remember, it's part of the whole, so we have to add it back. It's kind of like a pizza delivery. If you're making a pizza delivery and the pizza guy eats some of it, you still have to make that pizza delivery, so you got to add it back to it. Okay, so we got 1 minus 2/3, which would be 1/3, and you add it back to a half. Well, this is easy, right? And we know these are the same, so in order to get these the same, it's probably going to be 6. 6, sometimes you don't have to do too much work because it's easy. And then 2 gets there because it's thirds. Okay? And that would be 5, 6. Okay? And on this one, I just kind of try to show you that you don't always have to do work. You can just kind of erase your stuff. But we know that 2 gets to 6 3 times, and 2 gets into 6 3 times. So what you do on the bottom, you do on the top. Okay, so now I'd like you to do as much as possible. We'll do the first few together. You're more than welcome to fast forward if you're getting them correct and just finish and get all the answers. Okay, go. Okay, so number 1, another easy one, right? So take away our wholes, you're left with 1 1/5. Take away 1/4. Okay. Again, we could take the whole away, right? Or if it's easy enough, you could always just change your denominator in your head. So we know that the common denominator here is probably going to be 20, right? And what you do on the bottom, you do on the top. So 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, I know that that's the lowest common denominator that they have. Okay, so here we go. So see, now we have 4. So when we have 4 minus 5, we can't do that. So we'd have to borrow from here. So we'd still have to take this all the way from here. But we can think about it. What is 4 minus 5? Well, 4 minus 5, you're going to get -1. So, what if we try to do as much as we can? Okay, so we can get this down to 0, right? And that would take this to 4 or 1. So now we'd have to take away from our whole, right? Which would be 2 20s. Minus 120. And you'd end up with 19 20s. Got it? The only other method that you could have done was if you get stuck and if it looks like it's not something you can do, remember, make it easy on yourself. Okay, so 1 minus 1/4 would be 3/4, and you add your 1/5 back. Okay, common denominators. Sometimes you're going to start to just know what the common denominator is. Remember what you do on the bottom, you do on the top. Good job. Okay, and 15 minus times 3 is 15. I gave you the answer. 15 times 3, 5 times 3. You end up with 4 20ths. Okay, and when you add it together, same answer, 19 20ths. Okay, pause, do number B. Okay, are you done? Excellent. So, similar problem, right? So, we can go ahead here, take away our wholes, right? 4 minus 3 is 1 2/5 minus 3/4. I know that 3/4 is bigger than 2/5, so I'm going to go ahead and just take away from the whole first. If you struggle, make sure you can do these with blocks, okay? So you could have 1 2/5 minus 3/4. Okay, you can still do this method. So let's look at it. So we're going to take 3/4 away from a whole, so you're left with 1/4. You're going to add it into 2. So this is what I did first. Okay, add it back to 2/5. What you do on the bottom, you do on the top. You guys are good job. Okay. So now we've got our problem set up, and we have 5 times 1, so we'd have 5 20ths. Add 8 20ths. Okay, and when you add it all together, you end up with 13 20ths. Okay, so now we're going to have a few more that you'll be able to work on. I'm just going to give you the answers on these, so if you can go ahead and pause and try at least 2 of these. You can choose which ones you want to do, and then I'll put the answers up. Good job. Pause. Time lapse. Okay, so now you should have at least done 2 of these 4, and here are the answers. If you have a question, just come find me and I'll help you out. Okay, so G and H, choose one, and I'll give you the answers for both. Go. Welcome back. Okay, so number 2, we're on our first word problem. So Toby wrote the following: 7 1/4 minus 3 3/4 is the same or equals 4 2/4, which is simplified to 4 1/2. If Toby's calculation correct, draw a number line or just solve it to support your answer. Okay, so now we just need to solve it. If we look at it, we do the method we've been working on. 7 minus 3 is 4. Right? We have 4 1/4. Take away 3/4. Do you see what he did? So now he kind of took our 3/4 and our 1/4 and he switched them. You can't do that, can you? Bad, Toby. Okay. So now we can take our 3/4 from our 4, right? And we'd be left with 3, right? And 1/4, right? But we have to add this because we did this first. Okay, 4 minus 3/4 would be 3 and 1/4, because 1/4 after that is another whole. We've got to add our 1/4 back. So then we get 3 2/4, Toby. Toby. Okay, and then, yes, Toby's excellent at simplifying, though. We have to make sure that it's be 3 1/2. Okay, let's look at number 3. If you can go ahead and pause and solve. Okay. So Mr. Neville, Ice Guy, mixed up 12 3/15 gallons of chili for a party. If 7 3/4 gallons of chili was mild and the rest was extra spicy, how much extra spicy chili did Mr. Ice Guy make? So we know that we made 12 3/5. We do know that 7 3/4 of it was mild, and the rest was spicy. Okay, so we want to find out what the spicy is. So pause and solve. Okay, so we know that we do our wholes first, right? So 12 minus 7 is 5. And now we can take away our fourths from our fifths. So 5 minus 3/4 would be, good job, 4 1/4. So I'm doing this first. And then we got to make sure that you then add that back. And we're going to add 3/5 to it. And I love when they do fourths and fifths. Do all these are all the same, kiddos. So 4. You do on the bottom, you do on the top, and we know that 4 times 5 gets us to 20. Okay, so you end up with 4 5/20, add 12 20. So we know that the spicy was 4 17/20. I'm just going to put the answer on here for this one. So Jasmine decided to spend 6.5 hours studying over the weekend. She spent 1 1/4 hours studying on Friday and 2 3/4 studying on Saturday. How much longer does she need to spend studying on Sunday in order to reach her goal? Pause and go, and I'll put the answer up. Okay, so this is all you should have done. So we had 3 different subtraction decimals that we needed to solve. So again, still solve the same way, right? Whole minus whole, you end up with 3 1/2 minus 1/4 minus 2/3. Okay, find the common denominator, which just happened to be 12. 3 6/12 minus 3/12 minus 8/12. Subtract them all. I had to borrow from my 3, and you get 2 7/12. This has been another edition of Screencast-O-Matic 2017. Peace out.